So we're here outside of Grand Canyon, about 30 minutes away, in an Airstream that we booked through Airbnb. We're preparing to do the Bright Angel Trail tomorrow, all the way down to the Colorado River.
It should be about 15 miles there and back. All the reviews we've read say we should be able to do it in 10 hours. So sunrise is about 7:30, sunset about 5:30. So I think we can make it.
Yeah. We did the South Kaibab Trail today up to Ua Point. So that was about a quarter of what this trail will be. So since it's a canyon, you go down first and then you go up second. So it's hard to know how far you can make it, since normally with a mountain you can give up and then come back down. So you do the easy part first. So that's what makes this trail one of the most dangerous.
A lot of the signs that are posted say going down is optional, but coming back up is mandatory.
Yeah. The issues with it were that people don't bring enough water, or they don't realize how hard it's going to be on the way up. Since it is December right now, the temperature should be on our side. It was about 50 degrees at the top of the canyon, and it only gets hotter as you go down.
Average temperatures at the top of the canyon for December are kind of like mid 40s, and average temperatures at the bottom have ranged somewhere between like mid 50s to mid 60s. So you definitely have to layer up while you're doing this.
So we'll take you along with us as we do this tomorrow, because when we were looking for things about doing Grand Canyon hiking in the winter time, we couldn't find much content. So we thought we'd just make it ourselves and share our experience.
All of the videos you see in the summer make it look really nice and beautiful and sunny, and it's very sunny. There's no clouds here, but a lot of snow, which I was not expecting. So they recommend, if you're hiking down into the canyon, to buy spike things for your shoes, because the trails can get pretty icy where the sun doesn't really shine as much.
We're making our meals for tomorrow. Just some peanut butter sandwiches. Sorry about the plastic. We can't bring knives on the plane and we flew here. This is what we're packing for food and snacks. It looks kind of like a lot, but we have 2 bags, so we figured we might as well bring more and just bring it back than feel hungry and run out of food. This is all of the gear we're bringing. We have 2 headlamps because we're going to try and start before sunrise and we won't be able to see the trail yet. We have a water filter. We won't have enough water for the day, but when you get down to the river, you can refill your water bottle. So we brought a filter for that. We have a first aid kit and a Garmin InReach Mini. This is our first time using it, so hopefully we won't have to use it. That's the idea. And then some trail maps that we got today at the visitor center, and a backup battery pack for our phones, and the gimbal, and like everything else we have. We settled in for the night and made some ramen with shredded rotisserie chicken for dinner. Turned out pretty good.
The next day, we had a nutritious breakfast of peanut butter Captain Crunch and headed out.
We got to the trailhead at 6:45 a.m. while it was still dark. The beginning of the trail was pretty icy, as you can see, so it was important that we had our headlamps and cleats in order to hike safely for the first couple of miles.
Once the sun started coming up, we got some great views of the canyon. Near the beginning of the trail, there are 2 tunnels, which became something to look for on the way back up. As we went further, there was less ice, and it was mostly sand and dirt.
We're at the 1.5 mile rest house. When I looked on All Trails, it said we'd actually gone about 1.8 miles, so that's something to know. And it's gotten a lot warmer now. We've taken off, well, some of our layers, so I think I'm ready to take off my gloves too. The sun is up, so we don't need our headlamps anymore either, so that's been pretty nice. I wanted to show off what my outfit is for this trek. I have some hiking boots. We have our like snow cleat things. There wasn't that much ice, but every once in a while there would be a patch of ice, so it was nice to have. I have 2 layers of leggings on, some high wool socks, puffy coat, mid layer, and another like moisture wicking fabric type of thing, hat, gloves, and I have a walking stick because I have some knee issues.
So I also had earmuffs and gloves, which I've taken off. I've gotten a little bit warmer. I have a nice puffy coat on. I have kind of a pullover as well as a moisture wicking shirt. I have some leggings on with some shorts over it. I also have tall merino wool socks, my hiking boots, as well as some snow cleats on.
This is the rest house up here. It doesn't have any benches or anything. It's more just like shelter from sun, I assume. There's an emergency phone and the bathroom's over there.
The bathroom is still open. It kind of looks like a porta potty, but water gets shut off in the winter season because the pipes get too cold and they don't want them to burst.
So normally the rest houses have water taps that you can fill up your water bottles, but in the winter they don't, so you got to be prepared for that.
So make sure you're bringing extra water bottles down in the winter. I'm told that Indian Garden should still have working water as it's still an active camping site, so we'll let you know.
Once we made it past the 3-mile rest house, it had warmed up enough to shed our puppy coats. It was roughly 50 degrees at this point. We took a longer break at Indian Garden, which is about 6 miles into the hike.
There was still drinking water here during the winter. Although it is a campsite, there was space for hikers to rest. We had some protein-rich snacks. From Indian Garden, the trail follows Garden Creek all the way down to the Colorado River.
After leaving Indian Garden, we started crossing some other hikers who were doing overnight treks and heading back up in the morning. The views were definitely amazing the entire way. We also saw a few mule groups. The mules always have right of way, so you have to stand on the inside just in case the mules knock you over. There was also a lot of mule poop along the trail to watch out for.
There were just a few more switchbacks before getting to the river. The altitude between Indian Garden and the river is small, so the temperature didn't really change as much. There was a rest house by the river with composting toilets and drinking water, so we didn't end up using our filter.
We arrived around 11:30 and had lunch by the river.
We made it.
We had been told it takes twice as long going up as it does coming down, so we were pretty nervous about starting our ascent. So we're about halfway back up to Indian Gardens right now. It's rough.
It took us about 4.5 hours to get from the rim down to the river, and it's going to take so much longer to get back.
One foot in front of the other. We filmed a lot less on the way up since we were dying. Luckily, we got to see some wildlife. They were so comfortable with humans, they stayed pretty close to us on the trail. We are at the 3-mile rest house. We've been taking breaks every couple switchbacks, so it's been pretty rough. I see some people trail running. I don't know.
As a 26-year-old, relatively fit individual, this was a mistake.
Yeah, there are signs that say like they don't recommend going to the river and back in one day, but I guess I assume that's like more for the summer because I think it definitely wouldn't be recommended in the summer, and it's kind of pushing it in the winter.
I don't know if you'd call it lucky or not, but it was a very cloudy day, so we didn't get as much direct sunlight, so it was a little chillier, but without the sun, we sweat a bit less, so we ended up not needing to drink as much water. On our way back up, we got to look down at Indian Garden. It's the lush green part.
We're at a 1.5-mile rest stop now. We've been stopping, pretty much at every switchback, so it's going a lot slower. We just finished the hike. We're back in the car. We're pretty dead.
I think our stats, it was 10 hours and 16 minutes, 19.2 miles, and then we descended and climbed back up about 4,500 feet.
It was a lot. We saw other groups that were doing it in 2 days, and it probably would have been a better idea, but we did it. It's okay.
We made a mistake.
Yeah.